Hello, everybody. This is English Leveling. We're helping you to level up your English. So today we're going to talk about the English idiom, the phrase to send a message. What exactly does this phrase mean? Well, it means to take an action that will show how we feel or think about a situation or about another action. Okay, so we're going to take an action. It's going to show how we feel or think about it. Also, it could mean to take an action to try influence the other person's actions or behavior. So this is a little bit tricky to understand at first, but think about this. You're going to do something, you're going to say something or do something that is going to send the message. It's going to say, hey, I'm serious. I'm very, very serious. This is not going to be easy. So if you want to send that message to somebody, something that you do has to show how serious you are. And we usually come across this phrase when it has to do with some type of consequences. For example, when somebody does something bad, and then the consequence has to be severe. When we make the consequence severe, what does it do? It tells other people that this is very bad, right? This is very, very bad. We're not going to tolerate this. This is serious. And so let's think of an example. Say a student fights at school. And let's say he does something more than just fight. Say he does something even more bad. Let's say he picked up a weapon. Let's say he picked up a piece of wood or something and he hit another student. Okay, so he hits another student with a piece of wood. Well, how bad is this? Of course, this is very, very bad, right? However, if we say that this student does not get in trouble, maybe he gets in trouble, but only a little bit. Well, that sends a message. What message does it send? It sends the message that this is not that bad, right? If you do that, you too are fine. You won't get in trouble. We're okay if you do that. Now let's take that exact same situation and let's say that student gets kicked out of school. All right. He's never allowed to come back to school because he did that. Well, what message does that send? That also sends a message. What is the message? The message is if you hit someone, especially with a weapon, it is very serious. It is very, very serious. You will not be able to come to school again. You will be kicked out. Okay, so you get the idea, right? So to send a message, right? In this case, the school sends a message. Okay, they take an action that sends a message. In our first situation, they take an action. They take a very small action. And the message that that sends is that, oh, this is not bad. This is not too serious. If I do the same thing, no problem. In the second situation, the school takes a very big action. They take a very big action. And what message does that send? Well, it sends the message that this is very, very serious. And that if you do this, you will be kicked out of school. All right. So you will have a very big consequence. Okay. So to send a message can have to do with consequences, right? So when we're sending the message, right, we're taking a big action. Taking a big action. The big action shows what? Shows that we are serious and that behavior will not be tolerated. Okay, so that action will not be tolerated. It is very, very serious. You're going to be in very, very big trouble. Okay, it's not tolerated at all. All right, so that's what a big action. Okay, and if we take an action that is too small, it also sends a message. What message does it send? It sends the message that, oh, you know what, I don't really care. No problem. Okay, that's the message that it sends. All right. Another way that this phrase might be used is, let's say there's some type of crime. Okay. So if you watch some movies, there's some type of crime. Okay. Let's say there's a gang. Okay. There's a gang. And a gang member wants to send a message to somebody else. Okay, so the gang member wants to send a message to maybe another gang. Okay, and so what does he mean by send a message? Again, he wants to take a big action against the other gang. So what is that big action? Well, depending on the situation, depending on the movie that you're watching, depending on the show that you're watching, maybe that is to attack the other gang in some big way. Okay, so they're going to attack in some big way. They're going to make it clear, we are serious. You know, you better go away. Otherwise, you're going to get hurt, or you're going to get killed, or something like that, right? So that's a severe example, but that's just maybe a common example that you might hear maybe in some movies or TV shows or something like that, or even in some books. So another thing, right, where we're talking about crime, right, is the police, right? The police also can take a large action. When the police take a large action against some criminal or against a gang, okay, again, it goes to show, right, other gang members or others that know about the situation, hey, the police are going to attack big. They're going to come after you, okay? They're going to show that big action. All right. So I think you're getting the hang of this. So another thing that you can know here is to send a message. It's perfectly fine. You can say like this, okay? Let's send them a message, okay? You can say something like this. Let's send them a message. All right. It's time to send them a message. Right, something like that. Or we need to send them a message. Okay, in this kind of scenario, it's going to work perfectly well to say something like one of these three sentences. Okay, We need to send them a message. It's time to send them a message. Let's send them a message, okay? You're going to also hear this type of phrase in news, okay? You might read an article in the newspaper. You might read, a book, or you might read on the internet, or even just watching the news. You might hear this phrase in a news report, okay? Something, 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 something happened, right? Some action happened. And that action sends the message, or sends a message that something, something, something is going to happen. Okay, so something, right? The action, right? The big action that we talked about, whatever that big action is, it sends the message of what? And then we can state it here. Okay. Let's just put an example to that. Okay, let's say there's a crime, okay, and we see in court, okay, so in court, the court is sentencing a prisoner, or sentencing a criminal, okay, sentencing a criminal. And the criminal attacked someone because of being a different race. Okay, so they attacked somebody because they're a different race. They attacked somebody that's maybe a different skin color or something like that. Okay, let's say that this crime, that just attacking somebody, let's say that they can go to jail, they can go to prison for 2 years. Okay, so 2 years is a regular. 2 years is the regular sentence. But let's say that this crime, because of this crime, the court sentenced to, maybe 8 years. Okay, and so we can see here that there's a big difference. The regular sentence is 2 years, but the court sentenced the criminal to 8 years. Okay, so we can make a sentence like this. Well, or maybe we're reporting about this situation. This person got sentenced to 8 years in prison. This sends the message that racial discrimination will not be tolerated in this country. Okay, so you got a perfect example here, right? This action sends the message, and what message does it send? Racial discrimination will not be tolerated. It will not be. So if you do something out of racial discrimination, then you're going to be in very, very big trouble. You're going to get in a lot of trouble, similar to this person. Okay, so I think you understand this. Another thing that you can actually add a little more here, right? You can say something like send a clear message, okay? So you can add that here. You can add an adjective in here. And I think the most commonly used adjective here would be clear, okay? This sends a clear message, okay? And that just emphasizes a little bit more that, yeah, this is a message, a big message. This was a big action that shows you how we feel or how we're going to act based on what happened. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Tune in for more. Subscribe to the channel if you're on YouTube, and you can check out more lessons on our website.